To the high noon report. Excuse me, I didn't clear my throat. Typically, I do that before I start. Hold on, I'll do it now. There you go. Okay, saved you that. Hi, folks. Pugs Moran here. We do this every Monday through Friday, noon till whenever. It's my attempt at what I would like talk radio to once again become. It's not divisive. It's not political. It's just hot topics. We're just talking about all the things that are happening in the world that don't happen to be divisive or don't happen to be political. We talk about all the other things. So everybody is welcome. So come one, come all. Yeah, occasionally, sure. Occasionally we'll drop a toe in some sort of political discussion. But it's not how we define each other here. So come on in, join the chat room. We got Byron, we got Cameron. Hey, Cameron. We got rainy days. Let's see, grab your beanbag chairs, form your soul circle of life, and let's get this party started. Hold on, I'm just doing a couple of things. A big hearty thank you to our good pals at Sacred Oils. Sacred Oils picked up the slack in the month of May. That's the whole reason that we're doing shows this month. Sacred Oils stepped up. You can find them 13740 Midway Road in Farmers Branch. What do they do at Sacred Oils? CBDs, edibles, deltas, smoke shop. You know, it's all that stuff, and we're seeing them everywhere. We're talking about just a business that is exploding. They're everywhere, every strip mall. So here's what I want you to do. Instead of going into that one that you always pass, I want you to think of Sacred Oils, 13740 Farmers Branch. Help them because they helped us. And if you enjoy this show, the noon show, that's how we make the world go round. 13740 Midway Road. Pugs 20. Forgot to tell you about that. Pugs 20. If when you go there and anything you buy at checkout, you just say Pugs 20 and they take 20% off. So there you go. And again, it's 13740 Midway Road. 13740 Midway Road. Get that in your head. 13740 Midway Road. Shall we work on the phone number next? Okay, we will. 469-951-3910. That's 469-951-3910. That's the number for Sacred Oils. Thank you to them. What else how are we doing on the show? Hold on. We are streaming. We are plugged in. We were at 100%. We are plugged in. We are still at 100% fully charged. Boy, is this important, because I got a good show today. I got a real good show. I got a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about, a bunch of stuff that interests me. And that's what we do on the High Noon Report. I give you all of the topics that are trending, things that are making headlines, hot topics, current events, whatever it is that is driving the news cycle right now, I give it to you. But before we get into that, before we get into the stuff that is shaping what today is, we like to go back in time. Do a little segment we call Erstwhile on this day, or Previously on May the 25th. That's where we go back throughout history and we look at some of the events that have shaped the way we view this day today, right? Maybe there's some patterns, maybe some rhythms. I don't know. We like to check out every day. So we do the events, we talk about things that happened on this day in the past. Then we talk about people who were born on this day in the past. We talk about, we celebrate lives. We celebrate people's contributions. And then, of course, because we do life, we also have to do death. We will talk about the people who have died. We'll talk about the people who have died on this day, and then we'll decide, do we care? Because as we all agree, a lot of assholes in this world. And also, as we all agree, everybody dies. Vis-a-vis, assholes die all the time. So these are the people who died. Do we care? We get to that. So we do the events, we do birthdays, and we do we care? Then and only then, after we've got what I feel is a nice, well-rounded view of what this day has represented in the past, then we move forward with a clear conscience into exploring what the hours that lay ahead might bring us. We go through anything that's trending. We go through anything that's making a headline, things that people are buzzing about. This show is designed to be a cheat sheet for you so that you don't ever get accosted by somebody who's like, hey, did you hear about? And you're like, no, I didn't hear about that. Tell me about it, oh wizard. You don't ever have to be that person where you're like listening to somebody else tell you something. Well, except in the scenario where that person is me. But, that's a given because we're doing... Anyway, are you ready to get started? We should get started. How am I doing battery-wise? I'm still connected. Hey, and by the way, folks, the last month or so of this show has been fairly consistently affected in the negative by some computer issues, by some connection issues. We've done everything from change studios, which, by the way, I'm all for. I enjoy the new studio much more than I like the old one. This is great. This is awesome. In fact, knowing full well that this may be a temporary studio breaks my heart. I would want this to be my everyday studio. This studio is awesome. Anyway, Ed is on top of it. So we are going to have, even though right now we seem to have a strong internet connection, we seem to have a strong connection to the Restream platform that puts this show out. We seem to have good battery strength, and we seem to be maintaining our battery strength. Those are all good boxes to check. Because on any given day, there's like, well, the battery is draining, the connection is poor, I'm glitchy, you know. All right, keep our fingers crossed. Oh, also, by the way, it's the end of the month, so, you know, we run the show on tips. So if you can tip the show, that would be fantastic. Cash App, Venmo, drop a little something. Treat me like I'm your bartender. You're going to hang out for a couple of hours. Throw a little something, no big deal. I appreciate it. That's how the show runs. We do 5 shows, Monday through Friday of this, and then we do 4 shows at the nighttime. We do a nighttime show, too, I should tell you about. Pillow Talk. That's me, James Parker, Emil. Sometimes Keynote hangs out. So it's a group of people. We're going to start revolving new people in every now and again just to see how the mix is. But yeah, been enjoying those. And you can find all the past episodes of either Pugs and Parker with Key and E or this one, the High Noon Report, by going to pugscast.com. Pugscast.com. All right, without further ado, let's get into the High Noon Report for today, the 25th day of May, year of our Lord, 2023. Did you know that May the 25th is the 145th day of the year? There are 220 more of these until the end of the school year. So get those New Year's Eve plans started. Yesterday I had a good time. Yesterday after the show, I ended the show a little bit early yesterday because I had to go to my kid's award ceremony. My kid got awards. That's right. I created a thing that now people are like, oh, let's give this child awards. I did that. Thank you. I take credit for that. Well, his mom too. And really, like, the stuff he's getting awards for, I think that if I'm being fair, that's probably more came from his mom. But whatever. So I went to an award ceremony. He won a president's award for leadership, for being a leader, which was good. And he also won a academic award, hey, straight A's. He gets straight A's. But here is what I found was very important. So, like, you know, it's nonstop clapping. It's like, Edwina Gomez, Eddie Gonzalez, you know, it's all like clapping and all that stuff. But within the claps, you get like the variations, like, so you can tell who like the popular people are or whatever. And then of course the thunderous applause comes for the kid with CP or the kid with, you know, in the wheelchair or something. And that's always such a feel good. When the crowd, you know, because there's always a kid in the class who has some challenge. When that kid gets and the whole place erupts, that is, I'm telling you, it happened twice yesterday. Once for a kid in the 6th grade and once for a kid in the 8th grade. That is a moment where I just sit there and I go, oh God, look at this. Look at this. A whole room full of assholes. And let's not kid ourselves. We're all assholes. A whole room full of assholes in this gymnasium is in unison, acknowledging that there is somebody facing challenges that we don't face, and for them to accomplish what they've just accomplished deserves us to stand up. That's actually a beautiful freaking quasi-second of time. I don't even know how long it lasts, but there is that moment where a room full of assholes goes, you know what? That's really impressive that kid with no legs was able to do. You know what I mean? I love it. Cynics out there will be like, it's only because he's... No, shut up. Stop being a cynic. What is really happening in that moment is that we are collectively, as a group of assholes, going, you know what? Let's not be assholes for a minute. Let's just for a second, let's be like, how about that kid? So that was a good moment. I always like those. But also, my kid got a little eruption in the crowd, which was good, which is like, you know, like when they said his name, Like, it wasn't just the normal. There was like a section of like his boys that kind of went, wah! Kind of like made it go up a little. So I felt good about that. So that's why yesterday's show was short. So I'll make up for that today. Let's do erstwhile on this day. This is where we like to go back in time. Maybe, maybe you could call. Hold on. What's going on here? Beep, 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 beep. This is also known as previously on this day, where we go back in history and we, oh, Jesus. Now I'm having computer problems. I'm sorry. Boom. There you go. Give it to me. Erstwhile on this day. Erstwhile on this day. In 1738, a treaty between Pennsylvania and Maryland ends the Connockchuck. Okay, I'm going to pronounce this. Dude, did you guys know that Maryland and Pennsylvania were at war? They were at war once, and apparently it went on for a long time. It was known as the Connockchuck War. Connockchuck War. It was about boundaries and state lines and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Pennsylvania and Maryland. We were period of time, 1730s. America. We had our own little balkanization going on. 1895, playwright, poet, and novelist Oscar Wilde is convicted of committing acts of gross indecency with other male persons. Gay. Went to jail for being gay. He served 2 years in prison for being gay. Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde was he was a gay guy. He was a writer, and I guess it had to be hard being a gay guy writer in 1895. Oh, yeah. Although, like I always say, like, all of those writers from back in those times, like back in times when it was like scary times, where like, men had to like do physical labor to earn their keep because there was no desk jobs. It was all like, how many rocks can you break? Where that was like what being a man meant. To be an artist back then, to be like someone who didn't, dedicate themselves to being a full-time warrior or being a full-time, pyramid builder, whatever. I know pyramids were like a long time before 1738. But my point is this, to learn that, Oscar Wilde, or 1895, to learn that Oscar Wilde, a writer, and he was gay, it seems like all writers would have been gay dudes back then. So that's what, you know what I mean? Because it seems like that would be there. Moving on. On this day in 1925, the Scopes trial. John T. Scopes is indicted for teaching human evolution in Tennessee. I know like the Scopes monkey trial is a big piece of history. We're in Tennessee. Look, pushing back against science based on religious beliefs, that's nothing new. It's the moment science. From the first time someone went, I think this is science, someone in the church went, no, it's not. See, so that's always been a thing. But back on this day, Scopes monkey trial, teacher was like, I'm teaching evolution. And they're like, nope, God created. And so it was that whole thing. And the court sided with the people who were like, God's the thing. But it's a movie, Inherit the Wind. I don't know if you've ever seen Inherit the Wind. It's so good. Don't bother with, actually reading the history books about the Scopes monkey trial. See the Spencer Tracy Inherit the Wind film. So good about the Scopes monkey trial. But on this day, man, my throat. So apparently it's either going to be computer problems or throat issues. God, I'm such a bitch. I am such a little bitch. On this day in 1953, the first public television station in the United States officially begins. Public television. Houston is where the first public station in America, like Kira, I guess here in Dallas, Channel 11, WTTW, the public, the stations that have Sesame Street. Well, I guess that's HBO now, right? Sesame Street, move. Stations that have Frontline. There you go. First one was in Houston, Texas. Started operating on this day in 1953. On this day in 1961, the Apollo program, U.S. President John F. Kennedy announces before a special joint session of the U.S. Congress his goal to initiate a project to put, quote, a man on the moon before the end of the decade. He said decade. He said, John Kennedy said a lot of things funny. Decade was one of them. This was the, I vow to put a man on the moon, at the end of this decade. That whole thing. Anyway, it was on this day that he did that, 1961, the announcement of the Apollo program and Kennedy making big, lofty goals. On this day in 1968, the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, Missouri is dedicated and open for public visitation, the Gateway Arch. Basically the only thing St. Louis, what's it known for? I shit on St. Louis because literally we sent all of our shit down to St. Louis, those of us in Chicago. We reversed the flow of the Chicago River. The Chicago River used to flow into Lake Michigan, and we were all pooping in the Chicago River. Chicagoans, like back in like the 18 whatevers, we were all pooping. In Chicago, it was all like in the beaches, and we're like, hey, we want to go swimming at the beaches. And they're like, well, we can't because we're pooping in the river, and the river's flowing right into the lake, and all the poop is just right there off the beaches. So they said, nah, we want beaches. And then they looked at each other and they went, screw St. Louis. And they, like, one of the great engineering marvels of modern times was the reversal of the flow of the Chicago River so that it flowed backwards into the Mississippi. It's basically Chicago flushing its toilet. That's what we did. We sent, instead of sending all the poop water into our beaches, we enjoy our beaches in Chicago. Chicago has incredible beaches. We enjoy our beaches in the summertime. But instead of having them be poop beaches, we just sent them down to St. Louis, and St. Louis never forgave us. So, when St. Louis finally opened their arch, it was like, it almost looks like a humorously giant toilet paper ring. It's like, hey, you're not done, St. Louis. You had the giant roll of toilet paper there in the center of it. Nah, Gateway Arch sucks. That's right. I know. I'm taking dumps on St. Louis. St. Louis ain't terrible. The surrounding areas of St. Louis ain't terrible, but the St. Louis Arch kind of sucks. That's such a tap out. That's just a giant arch, right? That's all. What is it? You couldn't just do a really impressive building in downtown St. Louis? The whole, that's just I don't know. I don't like it. I've been there many times. I see it all the time. Every time I drive between Dallas and Chicago, it's like, yeah, there's the arch, because you drive right by it. It's not impressive. Opened on this day in 1968. I also thought it was older than that. Like 1968, like I thought like the St. Louis Arch dedicated in 1950. You know what I mean? I thought it was like older than that. It's not. It doesn't seem like it's, like it seems like it would be easy to make, right? It's just bent rebar and concrete. It's not. All right. On this day, is anybody in St. Louis getting angry? Oh, compared to the bean in Chicago. Yeah, Jeff, like the bean is all Chicago has. Get the fuck out of here. Hey, thanks for the tip, Jeff. Jeff, one of our more consistent tippers. I appreciate that. Comparing it to the bean. Yeah, actually, compared to the bean, it sucks. Because the bean, I bet you the bean draws 10 times the amount of people the St. Louis Arch does. The bean is actually cool because of the way it reflects on one side off the water and then back onto the buildings. It's cool. The bean is actually badass. The arch is stupid. Yeah, all right, I'm shitting on St. Louis. You know who I don't shit on? Milwaukee. Milwaukee is our little brother to the north. We like Milwaukee. Milwaukee is cool. St. Louis can suck it. Although I am a Cardinals fan. I do like the Cardinals. I like the Cardinals simply because the Cub fans hate Cardinals, and I had to do something to anger Cub fans more than just be a White Sox fan. On this day in 1977, wow, the world changed on this day. And it's not just because Kennedy made that speech about the Apollo program. No. The world truly changed on this day. Something when, in 1977, when we went to bed last night, something wasn't a thing. And then when we woke up today, it was a thing. And it has been a thing since this day in 1977. It is overwhelming. I thought it was my thing. But then it didn't go away. Then it just started being other people's things. It became millennials' things. It was my thing. It was a Gen X thing. And then it became a millennium thing. Or millennial thing. Then, now, my kid is 14 years old. He thinks it's his thing. And I'm sorry, I don't believe that it can be your thing unless, back in 1977, when it opened on this day, you were one of the first in line to see Star Wars. That's right. Star Wars opened on this day in 1977. I remember the first time I saw a Star Wars trailer on TV. Oh my God. I was like 7 years old. I couldn't believe, probably sitting at, the kitchen table watching All in the Family or something with my grandpa. And they go to a commercial break. And all of a sudden, there's this Chewbacca thing. And there's like spaceships. Oh my God. I was like 7, 8 years old. I was 7 years old. I was 7 years old and I was like, whoa. Okay. So this is my new religion. On this day in 1977, Star Wars. And then I fell off. I fell off like when they made 3 Star Wars for me, for my generation. My generation, we got Star Wars, which I don't care. Call it Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope, whatever. It's Star Wars. So we got Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Jedi. Those were great. Then when the new ones came out with Portman and Jar Jar and all that, I was like cynical, and I was in my late 20s, and I was like, and so I sort of let those ones go by. But then when the next slew of films came out, I was a little bit older, a little bit more settled, and a little bit more open-minded, and I was like, you know what? This is an integral part of my childhood, and I should re-embrace it. So I did. And then when I had a kid, it was fun to go back and watch all the Star Wars movies with my kid and get them all caught up, so it became of our kind of thing, right? But then it got too crazy. And, there's too many Star Wars shows. There's too many alternate timelines. There's too many. I just don't know. There's too much, and I'm out. I am out on Star Wars. Opening on this day in 1977 in theaters for the very first time. On this day in 1979, American Airlines Flight 191, a McDonnell Douglas DC-10, crashes during takeoff at O'Hare International Airport, killing all 271 people on board, plus 2 people on the ground. Why do I mention this? I mention this because I remember this vividly. I remember when this happened. I was working. Why was I with my grandfather? I wonder what day of the week this was, but I was with my grandfather and we were delivering milk. He ran a dairy. He was a delivery milk guy. Your milkman. And we're delivering milk, and we listened to AM radio all day, and he would listen to his shows, and they broke in with this report of this plane crash. And you knew it was a big deal because they weren't doing any of the normal radio stuff. They were just all about this plane crash. And I remember seeing in the distance this fire, this smoke, this black billowing smoke rising up to the sky. And I was only about 10 years old. And I don't know now as an adult, I don't know, but I know what I believed it to be. I believed it to be the smoke from the crash of this plane, this particular plane. Now, as an adult, I look back and I think, well, that just might have just been an unrelated fire. And how far are we talking? Like, where did this go down? We were by Midway. This plane went down at O'Hare, so we weren't even near the same airport. I don't know. Anyway. This plane crash and the study of it afterwards and everything that we learned about it, about how it came down to a $1.25 screw that just snapped. They got a deal on screws, so they bought the cheap screws. And it snapped and an entire engine on takeoff fell off, causing the plane to wobble as it was trying to climb. And then it flipped over on its back and just belly flopped into a field right there in Des Plaines. Oh my God, horrifying. Horrified me about flying. That was such a big plane crash. Well, in Chicago, it was, I think, the largest plane crash of its time. At the time, it was like the biggest, most deadliest American plane crash ever. But then for it to have happened like at an airport where my mom was flying in and out of, it was very traumatic. That was pretty spooky. On this day, 1979, American Airlines Flight 191 crashes after takeoff from O'Hare Airport. I mean, it crashed minutes after takeoff. The engine fell off the plane on the runway. So as it climbed up in the air, it just basically went like it took off, and then the engine fell off, and then it just went whoop and flipped upside down like this, and then just bwomp. Crazy. Horrifying. I mean, it didn't fall from 30,000 feet, but it fell from high enough up that everybody was disintegrated when the thing exploded into a ball of flames with its 100% full fuel tanks because it had just taken off. Oh my God. What an awful thing. On this day in 1986, not an awful thing. This is not an awful thing, but I vividly recall not participating in it. On this day in 1986, the Hands Across America event takes place. Do you guys remember Hands Across America? Hands Across America was some stupid hippy-dippy everything in the 80s was, we are the world. Everything was that. Everything was, feed the world. Was there a Hands Across America song? Everyone needs a hand to hold on to. Maybe they could have used it. If Johnny Cougar had been a little bit, he would have dialed that in. He could have timed that. That could have been his Hands Across America song. Hands Across America happened on a Saturday, and it was a deal where everybody was supposed to, all the high school kids and elementary school kids were going to come out in their hometowns, and they were all going to join hands, and they were going to make a gigantic Red Rover line and challenge Canada. At least that's how I understood it. But apparently that wasn't it at all. It was just everyone from coast to coast. Now, here's why I was against Hands Across America. Because it was bullshit. Because there was not any way to possibly do an uninterrupted hand link from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. And they knew this. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles that were just not covered by the Hands Across America, but that's okay. They just moved on. Why? Because it was publicity, and apparently Pepsi had bought the rights to it. So I was against it from the beginning because it's not actually an unbroken link of children holding hands across them. It's not what it was. That was problem one I had. Problem two I had, it just seemed stupid. It was like, I remember we're in my friend's basement, and we're all just hanging out. And it was like noon or something on a Saturday or 1 o'clock. I don't know what we were going to do. Probably going to go to the mall, maybe ride BMX bikes. I don't know. Who knows? Wait, it was 86, so we were driving. Probably going to go drive to the arcade or something like that. I don't know, whatever it was. My friend's sister came downstairs, and she's like, come on, you guys, we need you to go to Hands Across America. And I remember a sense in the room that was a possibility, that some of my fellow dude friends were like thinking about taking her up on this. And I had to jump in, and I remember sitting in a beanbag chair, and I remember just going, get out of here, that's stupid, we ain't doing. It's like, I shut it down immediately. Because we had mentioned it earlier. Somebody had brought it up before the girls came down and were like, you guys got to come to Hands Across America. So I did not participate. Did you? Did you participate? I didn't. I don't know what we ended up doing that day. In retrospect, we probably should have participated because it would have been more of a memory, because I honestly have no shit clue what we did that day, but on this day in 1986, Hands Across America went down. It's a fraud, wasn't real. On this day in 2011, how about this one? Oprah Winfrey airs her last show, ending her 25-year run of the Oprah Winfrey Show. 2011. Oprah's been gone a long-ass time, man. When you survey the smoldering rubble that is the American soccer mom landscape, boy, you could tell she's been missed. She's been missed. Back when Oprah was the only woman other women listened to, I'm telling you, life was in better shape. You started to get the Megyn Kellys. Now we got a Marjorie Taylor Greene here. You know what I mean? When it was Oprah doing her nice bit, moms were all nicer. Now moms are all like fucking shoving people at Target and carrying guns. Come on, moms! What happened to the Oprah moms in your little book clubs? What happened to that when things were nice? Oprah, last show on this day in 2011. On this day in 2018, Ireland votes to repeal. Look at this. The whole world's going in one direction, and the Irish are like, hold on, boyo. The Irish vote to repeal the 8th Amendment of the Irish Constitution. Look at the Irish. Look at the Irish. Taking a look at their constitution and the amendments and understanding that constitutions are created with forethought and hope to be breathing, living documents that adapt over time. Look at the Irish doing that. The Irish, they voted to repeal the 8th Amendment to their constitution. Now, Ireland's a very Catholic country. The 8th Amendment outlawed abortion. So the Irish were the opposite of us. The Irish had something in their constitution that said abortion ain't a thing, can't be a thing here. And in 2018, Ireland votes to repeal the 8th Amendment of their constitution that prohibits abortion in all but a few cases, choosing to replace it with the 36th Amendment of the Constitution of Ireland. I don't know what that is, but apparently it's a little bit less restrictive than it was. All right, that's it. That's the erstwhile on this day segment. It's time now. Let's do some buana, buana, buana. You say it's your birthday. Buana, buana, buana. Celebrate some people who were born on this day. First and foremost, born on this day in 1931, Irwin Winkler, ladies and gentlemen. Irwin Winkler was born on this day in 1931. Who's Irwin Winkler? That's what you're thinking. Irwin Winkler draft! Yeah, we're doing an Irwin Winkler draft. You want to know why we're doing an Irwin Winkler draft? Irwin Winkler was a film producer. He's also a director, also sometimes an actor in his earlier days. You okay, dog? You just hear that? Dog. What, you don't like Irwin Winkler? Legendary Hollywood film producer? All right, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to do a real Irwin Winkler draft, although we could. But he's one of those guys that, like, after you do the top 5 draft picks, you're like, so everything else comes to count. You know what I mean? So we're going to give you the top 5. And let me say, before I give you the top 5 Irwin Winkler draft picks, I'm going to tell you ahead of time that Irwin Winkler has 3 films. He executive produced at least 3 films in my top 5 greatest films of all time. So you know Irwin Winkler has some stroke, baby. With the first pick in the Irwin Winkler draft, I'm going with my second favorite film of all time. The number 1 pick in the Irwin Winkler draft, first off the board. And by the way, when you hear 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're going to be like, okay, why did you take The Right Stuff first? The Right Stuff. I love The Right Stuff. Right Stuff, man. Tom Wolfe. Ooh, Irwin Winkler produced. I love The Right Stuff. That comes off the board, number 1. Number 2, the second pick overall in the Irwin Winkler draft, Goodfellas. Number 2. Goodfellas, which is my third favorite film of all time, comes in number 2 here on the Irwin Winkler draft. Number 3, the number 3 pick in the Irwin Winkler draft, Rocky. That's right, Irwin Winkler directed the Sylvester Stallone 1976 Oscar-nominated Rocky. And all the Rocky, just all the Rocky, even into the Creed stuff of today, Irwin Winkler is still cashing them checks. All right, first pick in the Irwin Winkler draft, we went with The Right Stuff. The second pick, we went with Goodfellas. The third pick, we went with Rocky. The fourth pick, ladies and gentlemen, Raging Bull. Raging Bull. Are you getting an idea of the shit Irwin Winkler was involved in? The Right Stuff, Goodfellas, Rocky, and Raging Bull. The fifth pick in the Irwin Winkler draft, who was born on this day in 1931, one of my favorites of recent time, The Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street. First pick, The Right Stuff. Second pick, Goodfellas. Third pick, Rocky. Fourth pick, Raging Bull. Fifth pick, The Wolf of Wall Street. And this concludes your Irwin Winkler draft. Happy birthday, Irwin Winkler. Is he still alive or is he dead? I think he might be still alive. Holy crap. Born on this day in 1939. Happy birthday, Dixie Carter, designing women. Yeah. Born on this day in 1939, Ian McKellen, English actor. I don't know this guy. I don't know who this guy. I mean, I see him. I go, oh yeah, that guy. I know him, but I don't know him. I think if you got to be younger than me, I think, right? Wasn't he a Harry Potter dude? I never saw any of those. Not my generation. But he became like a big star off of that stuff, right? Ian McKellen, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1944, we got Frank Oz. Frank Oz. Okay, so he's not Kermit, but he's everybody else, right? Is he Piggy? Is he Grover? Frank Oz from Sesame Street did all the voices and the Muppets. Jim Henson was Kermit, though, right? I think. Pretty sure. I don't know. Anyway, born on this day in 1944, Frank Oz. Born on this day in 1958, Paul Weller, English singer, songwriter, and musician, most famously from The Jam, although Paul Weller had some solo hits. Born on this day in 1963, Canadian-American actor, singer, producer, screenwriter, and just someone who I'm... God, you guys. I have such a complicated relationship with this guy. He's undeniably funny. He's made me laugh a million times in my life. I just find him so exhausting. Like he's almost too smug about his humor. Like he's like, oh, yeah, it kind of rubs me the wrong way. Happy birthday, Mike Myers. Mike Myers, Wayne from Wayne's World. He's Austin Powers. I don't know. What was the movie that I really liked? So I Married an Axe Murderer. I like that one. I think that's his funniest movie. He's really good in that. It's like a rom-com, but it's also like stupid funny. He's like Robin Williams to me in that he seems like, God, can you just dial it down for a moment? Can you just not be in character for like just 1 second, right? It seems like he would just always be in character. And I know a couple of people like that, and it's exhausting. Happy birthday, Mike Myers. Could have done a Mike Myers Saturday Night Live character draft. Dieter from Sprockets, touch my monkey. That was good. What else did he have? A church lady. Okay, I know it's not the church lady, but whatever. Coffee Talk, right? Susan Richmond from Coffee Talk. I still use that voice. That's a good one, Coffee Talk. Dieter from Sprockets, already said that. Simon, the little boy in the bathtub who likes to do drawings. I like Simon. Simon was good. I don't know, whatever. He did a lot of characters. Born on this day in 1963, Mike Myers. Born on this day in 1969. Oh, God. Let's dial it down for this one because I need to have a total different mood. Anne Heche. Anne Heche would be celebrating a birthday today. You remember her? Remember Anne Heche? And Anne Heche was like, she was dating Steve Martin, and she like had kind of a young movie career going, and then she dumped Steve Martin for Ellen DeGeneres, and she became like a lesbian, and the whole world hated her because it was like, she made Ellen DeGeneres gay, which she didn't, of course, but there was like that whole vibe, so she kind of became a villain. Then her and Ellen broke up because Ellen met Portia de Rossi, and come on, seriously. So Ellen dumps Anne Heche for Portia de Rossi, and then Anne Heche goes a little, like she goes crazy. She has mental problems. She's committed, in and out of hospitals, treatment for years and years, seems to have it under control. And then last year, remember, was it suicide? She like got all messed up. She was doing a podcast that I think was kind of successful. And after recording a podcast, she got in her car, which was like a little Mini Cooper, and she just floored it down this neighborhood street and drove right into a house. Oh my God. It's like the worst celebrity death of all time. Because we saw it. There was a helicopter overhead filming it when they brought her body out of the house. She was on the back of a stretcher. She was burned over like most of her body. And in the middle of them trying to put her in the back of the ambulance, she woke up and tried to get off. Oh my God. That was one of the most awful things I've ever seen in my life. And then she dies a couple days later. Good Lord. Well, jeez Louise. All right. You know what? What are the details there? It's been a year. It's been a little over a year, maybe less than a year. I don't know. Let's see. When did she die exactly? She died in 2022. She died on August 11th, so it's just under a year. All right. Find out exactly what was going on in her death. Car crash on August 5th, 2022. Heche was involved in a sequence of 3 motor vehicle collisions in the Mar Vista neighborhood of Los Angeles. A final collision being the most serious, inflicting critical injuries on Heche and destroying a house. The first collision took place when Anne's vehicle struck an apartment garage and caused minor damage. A video released to TMZ shows her vehicle, a Mini Clubman, at the scene of the collision, and an unidentified man repeatedly shouting, "Out of the car!" at the driver. The vehicle then reversed and left the scene of the collision. A photo of the driver also revealed that the driver was Anne Heche. TMZ also reported a second hit and run in which Heche's Mini struck a Jaguar without stopping. Though without injury to other driver, an accompanying video shows the Mini speeding down an alleyway and nearly hitting a pedestrian. A doorbell video recorded in the months before the final crash shows Heche's vehicle driving along a neighborhood street at a very high rate of speed, followed a few seconds later by the sound of a crash. In the final crash, Heche's vehicle struck a house, broke through a wall, and embedded itself 30 feet into the building, trapping Heche inside. The vehicle caught fire, which rapidly spread through the entire building. The resulting house fire took 65 minutes to fully extinguish and required 59 firefighters. Firefighters were unable to access and fully extricate Haish from the vehicle for 45 minutes. She basically cooked in a house fire for 45 minutes. Ooh, man. Let's see. After they arrived on the scene and initially were not aware that a person was trapped in the vehicle. Haish had sustained severe burns and smoke inhalation injuries by the time she was rescued. The house was left structurally compromised and uninhabitable. The tenant living in the house was in the rear of the structure at the time of the collision and only sustained minor injuries. But her attorney said that she and her pets almost lost their lives and that she had lost all of her personal property in the fire. Law enforcement officials initially stated that Haish was deemed to be under the influence and acting erratically. The Los Angeles Police Department said that a preliminary blood analysis showed the presence of both cocaine and narcotics, including fentanyl, in her system. However, a more comprehensive analysis took several months to complete and was needed to determine whether the narcotics detected were given by the hospital or ingested earlier. So what do we find out about that? On December 6, 2022, the Los Angeles County Department of Medical Examiner announced the results of Ann Haish's final autopsy, stating that she was not impaired by illicit substances at the time of the incident and that no active drugs were found in her system. An inactive metabolite of cocaine was found through a blood test taken when Haish arrived at the hospital, which the coroner's office said indicates the drug was used in the past, but not at the time of the crash. Cannabinoids were detected in Haish's urine, but not in the blood test, which was consistent with prior use, but not during the time of the incident. Fentanyl was also detected in Haish's system, but it was determined that it was from treatment she received at the hospital after the incident. All right, so, a little weed in her system. She was crazy. Good Lord. That is the absolute worst. I don't know. Would that be a worst celebrity draft? Worst celebrity death draft? John Denver. And that's not a good one. John Denver lost his head. And Jane Mansfield lost her head. Anyway, born on this day in 1969. Happy birthday, you tortured soul, Ann Haish. Born on this day in 1970, Jamie Kennedy, American actor, producer, and screenwriter. Kind of a dick. Hung out with him a little bit. Kind of a dick. Born on this day in 1970, Octavia Spencer, American actress and author. So, Octavia Spencer is interesting to me because she's terrific. And in everything I see her in, she's really great. But I don't know where she came from. It's like one day there was no such thing as Octavia Spencer. And then the next day we had the Black Meryl Streep. And she was in everything. And she's winning awards for everything. I'm like, where'd she come from? She do a bunch of things. Well, middle-aged white guy. Maybe I didn't see a bunch of the stuff that she did. Maybe she did more urban audience fare. I don't know. But she's good. She's good in everything. And she just came out of nowhere, at least to my dumb middle-aged white guy. Born on this day in 1976, Ethan Suplee. Actor Ethan Suplee. He's interesting because he's the big obese kid that was in football movies in the 90s. And then he was on My Name is Earl. Remember My Name is Earl? He was the big, dumb, giant, heavy guy. But then he lost a lot. He lost 200 pounds. And now he looks weird. Like people who were used to having, like Drew Carey, people who were used to looking a certain way when they get that done. And when I say get that done, I mean probably had stomach stapling. Although, from what I understand, he says he just rode his bike. But I don't know. 200 pounds from just riding your bike. Stomach stapling, I think, is probably more like it. But whenever people go through those drastic weight losses, I'm always a little bit... If I'm being honest, I don't know that I've ever seen anyone who's had that surgery who I've known before, who I've then gone, yeah, they look better. I think at most I can say they look different. They don't look heavy anymore, but a lot of times, I don't know. It's weird. Hey, just get healthy any way you can. That's what I say. I'm done judging. Just, you do you. Whoa, dog, you almost just collapsed my desk. Okay, you're not, you can't be pushing that like that. Dog is under the table doing dog-like things. Oh, I'm not even centered properly. Hold on. Gotta get centered right. There we go. Okay. Oh, hey, here's an update on my, I am plugged in. Remember, I was at 100%. I am plugged in, and now I'm down to 93%. So even though I'm plugged in, I'm still losing battery power. And I know people are like, but if you're plugged in, the battery doesn't matter. I understand that in theory, and I understand that concept. I understand how you believe that, and I understand that until very recently was the way that I thought of the world as well. Except I am now existing in a universe where it doesn't matter that it's plugged in and charging. The stream is going to cause the whole computer to crash at some point. It's going to just slowly go down. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, but it's plugged in and it's charging. And I'm agreeing with you. It is. There are mysteries in this universe, and this computer and the way it works is one of them mysteries. Born on this day in 1976. This is the last one I think we're going to do of these birthdays. Hold on. Let me move forward. Let me see here. Oh, no, we got a couple more. I'm sorry. Okay, but this is a big one. This is a big birthday, man. This is one of my people. This is one of my favorite people. This is, oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1976. Cillian Murphy. Or do you say Killian Murphy? It really does depend on what type of Gaelic dialect you speak, but I call him Cillian Murphy. Cillian Murphy. Oh, God. Tommy Shelby. Do you guys watch Peaky Blinders? Oh my God! That is like such a great show. Here's what I hate about Peaky Blinders. I've in the past 4 years, I've seen the entire series run three times through. And what I hate about it right now is that I've only recently just finished it. Like I finished it like 6 months ago. So I can't re-binge the series again. I have to wait like at least another year to re-binge the series. It's that good. Peaky Blinders is easily top 3. I go back and forth. Is it better than The Sopranos? I don't know. I go back and forth. Peaky Blinders is so good. And if we are comparing it to The Sopranos, Cillian Murphy is the Tony Soprano of Peaky Blinder. He's Tommy Shelby. Tommy. Now, Arthur. Show me. I'm your brother, Arthur Shelby. Now, Arthur. I love Peaky Blinders. Oh my God. Peaky Blinders draft. Favorite thing about Peaky Blinders on this Cillian Murphy's birthday. It's Cillian Murphy's birthday, so we're going number 1. First off the board. First pick. First in my Peaky Blinders things we love about Cillian Murphy draft. Peaky Blinders, first pick off the board. My favorite male actor. The great Tom Hardy as Alfie Solomons. Tom Hardy is as A-list an actor as you get in Hollywood right now, except for Tom Hardy is also a dude who likes to lay around on his couch in London and watch TV. And Tom Hardy became a crazy fan of season 1 of Peaky Blinders. A huge fan. Tom Hardy, who's like, telling Scorsese that maybe he'll have time for him later and, collecting awards and, tell Leo DiCaprio I can't hang out with him this weekend. Tom Hardy's laying on his couch watching Peaky Blinders. He picks up the phone. He calls the producers of Peaky Blinders and goes, "You're my favorite show. Can you write me in? I want to do your show." Tom Hardy, a big movie star, is like doing BBC One content because it's his favorite show. So they created the character for Tom Hardy of Alfie Solomons. And Alfie Solomons is the leader of the Jewish mafia. And Tom Hardy as Alfie Solomons is one of the great characters in the history. Is he first of all, he's crazy. He's batshit crazy. He's all powerful. He's violent as all get out. Number 1 in the Peaky Blinders. Cool things I like about Peaky Blinders draft on Cillian Murphy's birthday today. Number 2, Aunt Polly. Oh my God. Helen McCrory. The late, great Helen McCrory. And, we say late, great Helen McCrory, and we say Aunt Polly, and you're imagining this sweet old granny type from the Beverly Hillbillies. No. Aunt Polly, Helen McCrory was hot. Helen McCrory was hot, and she's an aunt, but she's not much older than the nephews and all that kind of stuff. Aunt Polly, man, she was a badass. Helen McCrory died of cancer. Very sad. The way they handled Aunt Polly's death, because she died while they weren't filming, so they couldn't, the way they handled it in the final season of Peaky Blinders to explain why suddenly Aunt Polly, one of the most important characters in the show, is no longer there, was masterful. Everything about. Okay, we were all worried about how are they going to handle the death of Aunt Polly. How are they going to address that? And they did it. They did it unbelievable. Number 2 in my things that are so cool about Peaky Blinders on Cillian Murphy's birthday. 3, all the Winston Churchill stuff. Winston Churchill is another character in Peaky Blinders. Yeah, the real Winston Churchill. Peaky Blinders is about a real street gang that dominated Manchester or Birmingham, England, back in the days after World War I. Peaky Blinders were a street gang. And Winston Churchill, during his younger years in British government, was in charge of crime and all that kind of stuff. So there's the whole plot arc and the storylines involving Winston Churchill and his involvement from afar with this street gang is fascinating. Fascinating. Number 4 things that I think are super cool about Peaky Blinders. Adrian Brody as Luca Changreta. Luca Changreta. One of the leaders of the 5 families here in New York who comes over to Birmingham to murder Tommy Shelby, the leader of the Peaky Blinders. Why? Because Tommy Shelby murdered Luca Changreta's dad. And so it's one of those blood oath things where you got the New York Mafia coming to Birmingham, England to Peaky Blinders. Oh, man, it's so good. Luca Changreta, Adrian Brody. So good, so good. And number 5, the 5th thing that I like best about Peaky Blinders here, the Peaky Blinders draft on Cillian Murphy's birthday. Number 5, Denny Whizbang. Denny Whizbang. Denny Whizbang is a character. You have to understand, the guys in this gang, they've all just returned from war. They've all just come back from World War I. And they're trying to reestablish themselves in their street gang that they left. And they're building themselves up from being kids who were pickpockets and petty thieves to a global crime organization. That's what the arc of Peaky Blinders is about. It's about Tommy Shelby. It's about Tommy Shelby building the street gang into one of the most powerful criminal organizations on the globe. And again, based on a true story. Anyway, Danny Whizbang is one of the guys in that he's a Peaky Blinder, but he also fights with them in France during World War I. And Danny Whizbang suffers from what we now call post-traumatic stress syndrome. And he's called Danny Whizbang because out of nowhere, he'll just hear like a car backfire, and he'll think it's the whiz and the bang of incoming artillery. And he freaks out. And it's just, the reason I mention him here is because they really do such a cool job of showing how, before we recognize PTSD as something, before we recognize that, these people, shell shock, we called it shell shock, right? After World War, the way they deal with Danny Whizbang, fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, on Cillian Murphy's birthday, born on this day in 1976, that completes our Peaky Blinders things I think are so cool about that show. Peaky Blinders, available on Hulu. All 5 seasons. You can binge the whole thing. Show me. No, Arthur. Show me, Shelby. You're my brother, and I love you. Arthur? That's Tommy and Arthur. I don't know what they're talking about. Tommy, pass me the milk for me, cereal. No, Arthur. That's too much Fruity Pebbles for you. Tommy, I'm gonna kill you. You're my brother, but if I don't get the fruit... I could do a whole bit. It won't be funny. As a matter of fact, it'll be weird, but I'll get into it. Born on this day in 1978. Buena, it's Brian Urlacher's birthday. Okay. So we all know that I'm a Bear fan, but Brian Urlacher is... he's... Here's what you need to know about Brian Urlacher. He's easily one of the most dynamic and violent defensive football players I've ever seen. Brian Urlacher had a talent for doing things that he shouldn't have been able to do. Like, you look at Brian Urlacher and you're like, wait, he can't drop back in coverage like that. Wait a second. That kid is going sideline to sideline, covering flankers out of the backfield. He did things. Brian Urlacher did things. He did things that were graceful. He did things that were incredibly ballet-like from the position of middle linebacker. And then he did things that were straight out of the Dick Butkus handbook, or just devastating hits and just crushing people. So, cannot be denied. One of the greats. Absolutely one of the greats. But here's always been my problem with Brian Urlacher. Brian Urlacher is kind of stupid and he's kind of a meatball. Like he's just, if Brian Urlacher had charisma, like if Brian Urlacher was a charming guy, like if he was everything Brian Urlacher was, but also charming, oh, the sky would have been the limit for him. This guy, by the way, he's not that. He's like a Hulk smash. You know, he was stupid. And he didn't have enough of a sense of humor about that being his natural sort of charisma. He didn't have enough of a sense of humor about it to capitalize on it the way, say, a Gronk did, right? Like Gronkowski also had that meathead thing, but Gronk turned it into a cash register that just endlessly rang for 10 years. Still ringing. See those insurance commercials. Brian Urlacher couldn't pull that off because Brian Urlacher, I'm not a meathead, I'm going to kick your ass. Yeah, that's exactly what a meathead would say. So he was never like, you know, and you compare him to the other heroes of Chicago Bears, you know, and they all had like, you know, Brian Urlacher, if you put Brian Urlacher on stage with, well, Walter's dead, but if you put Brian Urlacher on stage with like a Walter, a Butkus, a McMichael, you know, a Richard Dent, a Dan Hampton, a William the Refrigerator Perry, these people, Samurai Mike, these people are bigger than life personalities. They had charisma. And Brian Urlacher was just like Hulk smash. You know, just, Happy birthday, Brian Urlacher. You're fine. I'm glad you played for my team. One of my favorite Bears of all time. But you're just such a meatball. Born on this day in 1985, American football player. Didn't know this. And wrestler. Ladies and gentlemen, Roman Reigns. I don't know wrestling. But I know he's big. I know that's a big, big name. All right, that'll do it for birthdays. Let's do our next segment. These are the people who died. These are the people who died. Do we care? We ask the question. We understand two things to be factual, and that is people die every day, and there are a lot of assholes in the world. Vis-a-vis, not everybody who dies is a saint. So we ask the question, these are the people who died on this day. Do we care? Dead on this day in 1990, Vic Tayback, ladies and gentlemen, Vic Tayback. Mel Sharples from Alice. Yeah, we care. He's Mel Sharples. He's Mel. What do you think was going on with Mel? Like, what did we know about Mel? First of all, you know, I looked at Mel. I thought he was like a 70-year-old man. Mel Sharples was probably in his late 30s. A single guy. Probably sleeping. I bet he tried to sleep with Alice, but Alice shut him down. He was totally sleeping with Flo. He was sleeping with Flo on the regular until they hired Alice. And then when Alice was hired, that all stopped because Alice's presence was kind of a buzzkill. Vera, I also think that Mel might have hooked up with Vera at some point because you know, the diner's closed and they're refilling ketchup bottles. It's late at night. I see Mel getting horny and like putting some moves on Vera. And if I remember Vera from Alice, she didn't seem to have that kind of courage to stand up to a Mel Sharples who was, you know, trying to get some. Alice changed the whole dynamic of that place. I think she came in and she empowered the women coworkers, and much to Mel's chagrin. Happy birthday! No, happy death day. Sorry. Vic Tayback, dead on this day in 1990. Mel Sharples from Alice. Do we care? Yeah, we care. Dead on this day in 2007, American actor, comedian, and director Charles Nelson Riley. I don't know what Charles Nelson Riley was. Charles Nelson Riley was on Match Game. He was funny. He wore ascots. He was obviously gay, right? There were three people. Wait, hold on. 10-year-old me. If somebody had put a gun to my head at 10 years old and said, name 3 gay people, I'd go Charles Nelson Riley, Paul Lynde, Liberace. And I'd have won. I'd have said. But that's it. He was like one of 3 gay people back then. Dom DeLuise, too. If you had pushed me, I'd have been like, what's going on with Dom DeLuise? Well, he's married and he's got children. Yeah. So does Elton John. Elton John's married right now. It's 1978. You wait till you meet 1995 Elton John. All right. So let's get back to Dom DeLuise. What do you mean he's married and got kids and that means he's straight? Dom DeLuise to me always struck me as, I'm just saying. Charles Nelson Riley. Let's get back to him. He was a game show guy. He dead. Do we care? Yeah, I like Match Game. It reminds me of my grandma. I make very little distinction between Paul Lynde and Charles Nelson Riley. They're like the two gay guys that were funny on game shows back in the 70s. So yeah, we care. Charles Nelson Riley, dead on this day in 2019. Klaus van Bülow, Danish-British socialite and accused murder. Yeah, Klaus van Bülow killed his wife Sonny van Bülow and got away with it. Sonny van Bülow was a These fucking people. You know, these like rich people in like the 40s and 50s. Stupid ass names. All rich people back then had like really silly names. Remember Happy Rockefeller? Of course, she's happy. She's a Rockefeller. I hate these. Sonny. This is Sonny van Bülow. Before she was Sonny van Bülow, she was Princess, Countess, Saint van Anholt, or something weird. She was married to a prince. She was American royalty. Her dad owned like Random House, Random House Publishing. So she was the heiress to the Random House fortune. And then she ended up marrying some European prince or something. And then they got divorced, but she got to keep the title. And then she married this guy, this Swedish, cad, I guess, Klaus van Bülow. And they were married for a bunch of years, and then the marriage started to go bad, and then she ended up in the hospital, and he was like, I don't know what happened, and they're like, you poisoned her, and he's like, no, I didn't, and then they let her back, and a couple of years went by, and then she ended up in the hospital again, and this time she's in a coma, and they're like, you poisoned her again, and he's like, no, I didn't, and they basically put him on trial. And Klaus von Bülow was convicted. He was convicted, but then he, on appeal, he went and got that piece of shit lawyer, what's his name? The friend of Jeffrey Epstein's buddy. What's his name? Dershowitz. Oh my God, this guy who has represented every piece of shit since 1970. Dershowitz, defends von Bülow and gets him off. So, Klaus von Bülow, dead on this day in 2019. Do we care? No, you're a piece of shit, dude. We don't. No, you're a garbage human. You're a garbage human. Dead on this day in 2020, George Floyd, African-American man, murdered by Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. We all saw the video. It broke off a summer to remember. Boy, I tell you, that's in modern history, certainly one of the biggest moments in American modern history. Do we care? Yeah, it's a big deal. Big deal. Doesn't matter which side of it you're on. That was a big deal. We all cared. We all cared. Everybody had an opinion. Everybody got all stirred up. All right, that's going to do it. Those are all of the things that have occurred on this day. We've gone through the erstwhile. We've covered the events. We've talked about the birthdays. We've talked about the people who have died, and we've deemed them either worthy of our care or not worthy of our care. So let's get into what the rest of this show is, and I will remind you, thank you to our friends at Sacred Oils, 13740 Midway Road, Sacred Oils, CBDs, all that kind of stuff. Legal CBDs, legal deltas, edibles, Memorial Day weekend, stock up, 13740 Midway Road. They tell you it's Suite 522, but you don't even need to know that because you can see the big sign off Midway. 13740 Midway Road, or give them a call, 469-951-3910. 3910. 469-951-3910. Tell them Pugs 20. Pugs 20 when you check. 20% off. Very good. Thank you to the folks at Sacred Oils. They got us through May. They saved May. All of these May shows. They're all because of Sacred Oils. So if you're thinking about dipping the toe into that CBD, edibles, deltas, legal weed, that whole thing, you want to dip your toe, throw your money at Sacred Oils because they help this show out. And if you enjoy the show, that's how we reciprocate. All right, let's get into all of the things that are trending in our big news. Hold on a second. I'm being pulled to Twitter for a second. Something big happening. Where's April? Where's my chat room producer? Is there something big that is happening right now that I need to be aware of? Because I've gotten 2 alerts. No, just one alert. The other one is an amber. Okay. Wow. Huh. Well, you know what? I don't see anything that jumps out. If there's anything that is really big that is happening that I am missing, chat room, you guys are going to let me know, and then we'll jump on that and we'll cover that. But it looks like we're all caught up. All right, first and foremost, debt ceiling still trending every single day. This is going to be the top story: debt ceiling. Why? Yesterday I was telling you about how Fitch, Moody's, and Standard & Poor's, those are the rating agencies, they had no interest in talking about lowering America's credit rating. But today that has changed. Fitch saying, well, we might have to. Oh boy. Threaten me again, why don't you, you dumb, dirty bitch? Nothing's going to happen here. They're going to fix this. They fix it all the time. This is political posturing. We're moving on. Suez Canal is trending. Did you see this? Another boat has jackknifed in the Suez Canal. Now, why is this important? 30% of everything that is in your life right now, think of it like this: 30% of everything. Look around the room you're in right now. Look around the room. 30% of everything in your life traveled through the Suez Canal. Yeah, 30%. That's how important this little shortcut is. And the Suez Canal is a shortcut. Shipping, all the world shipping, if it's coming from the east to the west or from the west to the east, it's going to go through the Suez Canal. And right now there is a boat jackknifed and no traffic can get through. So what does this mean? Well, it's going to be a great excuse for Walmart to jack up their prices on all their Chinese garbage that they sell us. Yeah, we're going to see higher prices. Doesn't matter how long this boat is here. This is a reason for them to, tinker with the prices just a little bit. Suez Canal. So we'll watch this developing. Apparently, this is a big one. Hopefully, it won't be as big as the one that happened 2 years ago when basically almost sent the globe into a depression. Remember, they had like 3 different navies out there all trying to get this boat. How big is the Suez Canal? How big is it? I mean, how does one boat that gets jackknifed or something, how does that stop every other boat in the world from getting to the west? I don't know. DeSantis is trending. Governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, finds himself trending. Last night he did his social media experiment where he announced he's running for president of these here United States. Did it on Twitter with Elon Musk. He was heavily criticized before doing it. This is so not presidential. Oh, shut up. Yes, it is. This is how you reach people. Twitter will reach far more people than him making this announcement on C-SPAN or going on, the 5 and saying, or whatever. This is Twitter. Everybody can share it. It's easy. And you don't have to say to your friend, hey, did you see? Because you've got access to the clip and you can just give them the clip so that they can see. So, more people would see it on social media, especially a big event like this. Unfortunately, it was a massive failure because apparently it was bad. It was bad. Elon Musk hosted a Twitter last night for Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida, wherein he was going to announce that he's running for president of the United States. It was just marred with technical problems. You think we have technical problems. My God, Elon Musk is sitting right there in the room and nobody could get in. Nobody could hear him. There was silent. And then they just abandoned the whole thing. So the very first attempt at doing something big with Twitter Spaces, the Elon Musk hosted announcement of Ron DeSantis' presidential run was a massive failure. Everybody made fun of him. Trump and Biden both sent out tweets that slammed DeSantis for being a big dope. Anyway, it could have happened to anybody. It's not a big deal. A month from now, we'll totally forget about it. I mean, Trump walking around like he didn't hold a press conference at Four Seasons Landscaping, thinking it was the Four Seasons DC. So, look, we forget about these things. We move on. Whatever. Musk is also trending today. Musk is trending because apparently he's starting to come clean about some of his leisure time activities. Apparently, Elon Musk is a big fan of MDMA and mushrooms. He believes that MDMA and mushrooms and all of those kinds of things, mind trippy stuff, all of those things are better for you than alcohol, and he engages in them. So I don't know how this is going to affect stock prices. I imagine Tesla's in a lot of trouble. There's a story on that coming up. Twitter is just these. Elon Musk reportedly goes on exploratory journeys and likes to show friends a chart he's made of the benefits of MDMA and mushrooms over alcohol. I don't necessarily disagree. I just think it's interesting that we're learning a little bit about, Elon Musk. He's a cybernaut. Psychonaut. What do they call them? Psychonauts? Psychonauts. Yeah. That's it's like an astronaut of the brain, an astronaut of the mind. Elon Musk likes to discuss the benefits of MDMA and mushrooms with friends. One friend said the billionaire had been, by the way, this is New York Times, just so we're sure that it's not the National Enquirer. This is the New York Times. One friend said the billionaire had been on mild mind exploratory journeys. Musk has discussed the benefits of psychedelics in the past. Musk is no stranger to psychedelic drugs and often likes to discuss the benefits of the substances. This, according to a recent report in the New York Times. The billionaire likes to share a chart that shows MDMA and psychedelic mushrooms are healthier than alcohol use. Well, I believe that. I totally believe that. One dries you out. I mean, you chugging alcohol every day of your life. Imagine what you're. Come on, you pour alcohol on a piece of steak on the counter. You're gonna see that steak dry out. Hangovers. You know, you're so thirsty, cotton mouth. Yeah, it's because you got no fluids. The alcohol is sucking it all out, sucking you dry. Alcohol's bad for you. There's nothing wrong with having a beer or a glass of wine every once in a while, but if you're drinking a fifth of whiskey and a six-pack of beer every night, yeah, it's going to kill you. You're crazy. The Times spoke with over 40 people who have spent time with the richest man in the world over the past decade, many under conditions of anonymity due to concerns of repercussions, as well as non-disclosure agreements that they were required to sign at parties Musk attended. Oh, imagine that. You got to go to an Elon Musk party, but they're going to make you sign a non-disclosure. I'll do it. I just want to see it. What am I signing this for? What crazy shit is going to happen by the pool that you don't want me talking about? You know what I mean? What am I going to see here? For the past 20 years, Musk has attended nearly every Burning Man festival, often accompanied by his younger brother, Kimball. Anyway, there you have it. It's being reported that Elon Musk likes psychedelics. Cool. Fun. Tina Turner is trending. Of course she's trending. She died yesterday. Tina Turner. What can I tell you about Tina Turner? An icon, right? Really big. Really big. Hooked up with Ike Turner, double inducted, one of the rare double inductees into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's in there as a part of Ike and Tina Turner as a group, and then she's in there again as a solo artist. Disappeared for a while, about 10 years. She's doing like she almost considered, a washout. And then had a big comeback in the 80s. What's Love Got to Do with It? That put her back up. And then they made a movie, with that title that detailed her life based on a book that she had written after her comeback album. And she never looked back. She was just massive again. She was massive in the 1960s, kind of quiet in the 1970s, and then massive in the 80s, massive in the 90s. You don't have to be putting out albums anymore. You're just Aretha Franklin. Or Tina Turner, or whoever, you know what I mean? You just get to that point. She had been at that point for quite some time. 83, I believe she was. Real talent, a super talent, a singer, a dancer. She could write, too. Although Ike kind of beat that out of her. Went through so much. Her book, I, Tina, which was the story about her relationship with Ike Turner, the abusive relationship. You have to understand, that's something people talk about all the time now. That is not something people talked about back then. That was a risk. That was a risk, her coming out, talking about the way she was just routinely and institutionally abused, beaten, physical and mental, by Ike Turner for all those years. Tina Turner, my favorite Tina Turner song. She's got a lot of great songs. I like the stuff that she did with Phil Spector in the late 60s with Ike Turner. River Deep Mountain High was not a big hit in America, but it was a major hit globally elsewhere. That's a really cool. If you like the Phil Spector Wall of Sound, and you were like, man, I wonder what Tina Turner's power vocals would sound like with the Wall of Sound. River Deep Mountain High, cool song. She really goes for it there. But I mean, for me and my generation, I'm not speaking for my generation, but having the familiarity in real time, because Tina Turner was a big pop star at a time when I was really into pop stars, when I was really into what music was. And her collaboration with Bryan Adams on a song called It's Only Love is an amazing song. It is like, it's outside of what, here, let me just play a little bit of it for you. Maybe I can even share it for you. I wonder if we could show the video because the performance is so cool. We can share this. I don't even know if it's available. I'm just kind of guessing that maybe it is available. Anyway, she always did a lot of R&B stuff. A lot of her music style was influenced heavily by Ike Turner, who was definitely an R&B guy. But man, when she rocked, when she tried to do it's like Tina Turner doing real rock, but just being a rock singer was really something awesome. Here, yeah. So maybe we can show this. I don't know if we can. Maybe we can't. We'll try it for a second. But I do love it because it is such a great performance. Here. Okay, let's see if we can share. We'll know in a second. All right, hold on. Yeah. Sorry. Oh. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. We just had total drop off of my signal. So, as I said earlier, Ed's on top of it. I promise you. Ed's gonna get it. Ed's gonna get this thing all fixed. We're gonna get it sorted out. Some days, no problem sharing things. Other days, I try to share something and I completely lose my signal. I go completely down. Tina Turner died. Not sad because she lived a full life. She was old. She went through a lot. Went through a lot of really bad stuff. A lot of bad stuff. Like until she was like 40, her life was just, yeah, she was famous, but she was getting knocked around by everybody and she's just abusive and terrible. And then she got to live like a queen, you know, the last 60 years or so of her life. So good for her. Tina Turner died yesterday in Switzerland. Anyway, the Bryan Adams performance of It's Only Love, if you get a chance to see that, that is a great rock vocal performance from Tina Turner. She really goes for it. CBDs and sleep are being discussed right now. Some no fun doctors or whatever are saying that a lot of people are making these claims about CBD oils and all those kinds of things being good for sleep. You mean like, where's mine at? Where's mine? There. I brought all of my stuff up here because I like to take it before I do the nighttime show. Now, where is it? Really? There we go. Right here. This is the sacred oil stuff that I take. Take a little droplet. It's a little eyedropper. I take it for sleep. I take it in conjunction with 2 melatonin gummy bears. Normally, I would take 4 melatonin gummy bears. But when I take these, which is every night, 2 drops of this, 2 melatonin gummy bears, the best sleep that I've ever had. It's wonderful. And I used to take, I took everything from Ambien to, Tylenol PMs, all of that kind of stuff. Basically, what they're saying is a bunch of doctors are saying, yeah. We know a lot of people are talking about CBD oils and all that for sleep. But we just want to warn everybody that we haven't done the 10 years of testing that it takes. So the doctors are like trying to, I don't know for what reason, they're trying to take a dump on this new emerging industry that people seem to think is working. But, they're not saying that it doesn't work. What they're saying is, we don't have the research on this. People are saying it's a sleep aid, but we don't know. Yeah, you also said that for 40 years about weed. Remember when you were all in agreement that weed was a Schedule 1 narcotic capable of killing people? Stop it. Anyway, CBD and sleep is a discussion right now because there's a new report that comes out where doctors warn that we haven't done the proper testing, so we don't know for sure if it's working for you. That's great, but please don't become that whole thing. CBD and sleep. I just emptied this out. This is the stuff that I take, though, from Sacred Oils. A little, I don't know, man. It just takes the edge off. I've mind, like, if I lay down can be complete silence, but my mind will start going like, I can do this, and then what about this, and then what if we do this, and then with anxiety and whatever, oh my God, but I'm worried about this, and all of these things going on in your head when you're trying to just fall asleep. I find that works really well for me. Target is trending again. Target's been trending the last couple of days. They got themselves in a little bit of a Bud Light trans brouhaha. Why? Because for the past 10 years, Target has been celebrating Pride Month, except this year, everything's different. What's different? I don't know. Some Nazis decided that it was different. So now Target is backing off their 10-year-long campaign of celebrating Pride Month in June. When you walk into a Target, apparently you're greeted right away with a nice little display that says, June is Pride Month, buy your rainbow t-shirt or whatever. All right? Normal people can walk right past that. Apparently there are people out there who can't walk right past that, who see that and are such snowflakes, triggered instantly, and demand to speak to a manager or whatever it is. Fucking people. They want to get ginned up. They want to have that endorphin explosion when they're outraged. That's the only excitement they have in their life. They wake up, they go to work, they watch the same shows, they eat the same food, they talk to the same people. But God damn it, Target's got me going! So that's what this is all about. So again, after 10 years of Target doing this, now suddenly, because a bunch of Nazis, and they were Nazis, it's a Nazi group in Arizona that started this whole thing that picked up on social media, and now everybody's going to go down to their Target, and they're going to cause a scene at their Target in front of the Pride display, a display that has been a part of this corporate seasonal promotion for 10 years now. I can't. Whatever. It's a thing. It's a thing that people need to feel like they're a part of. And, hey, if you get to be mean, that's a benefit to a lot of people. So let's just be shitty to people. Let's not ignore things. And let's make our little fucking snowflake feelings the most important thing in the moment and cause all kinds of problems for other people who are just showing up to friggin' Target to get a Massimo shirt for a dinner they got tonight. And now they got to deal with this. So anyway, Target has moved all of their stuff. In some stores, they've actually ended the June promotion, which is fine. If the community doesn't want it and it doesn't work in that community, it's fine. I don't care. Go to a more sophisticated Target on, the other part of town. If you want to get yourself a rainbow t-shirt, that's fine. If the community decides we don't want it, fine. I'm not going to live in that community, but whatever, other people might want to, and it's their freedom to do that. But here's what happened. The designer, the very weird, now I know what this person looks like, the very odd looking, provocatively dressed, they're purposely doing things, spikes and tattoos on the face. The trans designer who created shirts for Target has apparently made like millions and millions and millions of dollars over the last 48 hours because their online store is cranking out merchandise that used to have to go through Target. So basically what has happened is that they have made this struggling artist who had like a licensing deal with Target, where Target would receive like 90% of the money for their creations. They have taken that out of the equation, and now this person is getting like 100% of all the money, and they're getting crazy rich. So that's unintended. But, who cares about that, right? Here, what's this person's name? Their name was trending earlier today. Ugh. Just a weird person. Orders surge for trans designer after Target pulls products. All right, they're not as weird looking as I thought. They're not as odd looking. But they definitely look like somebody. If I met them and they said, "Hey, it's Gary. Gary does all the trans clothes designs for Target." If you said that to me, I'd go, "Yeah, that tracks." Because he looks like a guy that might do that for a living. But he's not as crazy weird as maybe I had thought. I had presented him as very strange. Transgender designer Eric Carnell has seen a massive surge for his pins, prints, stickers, and t-shirts after U.S. retailer Target Corp pulled his products amid a backlash by some customers. All right, so Target's not... Hey, dude's still getting his money. This backlash is like the best thing that's ever happened to this dude. He's like, yeah, hate on him. Come directly, gather at all the Targets, hate on my stuff, but then make sure you say the .com because let people come to me. Fentanyl is trending. Fentanyl is trending because the Stop Fentanyl Act has passed in the United States Congress. The Republican-led Congress pushed this through as a dominant victory, and fentanyl is now, as of, well, I think it's got to be signed by the president. The bill, fentanyl is now a Schedule 1 narcotic, which, how was it not before? This is like, really? What you mean? So weed was deemed more dangerous than fentanyl? How is fentanyl not a Schedule 1 narcotic? Anyway, there is something interesting politically happening right now because it was such an overwhelming victory. It was a big victory for Congress. They pushed this through. This won. The Republicans, they wanted it. They championed it, and they got it pushed through, and it's now law of the land, and it's going to go to the president. But see, here's what's happening. You're being duped. You're being lied to because there's a whole bunch of people like Marjorie Taylor Greene who is now going around on Twitters and all that claiming that this is a victory and that they own the libs and all this kind of stuff. The Biden White House is behind this bill. The Biden White House is going to sign it. No questions asked. They wanted it to pass. So don't get ginned up. Don't think that this is some kind. This is a wonderful victory for our Congress. This is a very good bill. This is a smart thing that I can't believe hadn't been done before, making fentanyl a Schedule 1 narcotic. Nobody is against this. So pretending like this is something 2 weeks ago, Two weeks ago, this is from the Biden White House. The Biden administration has backed the Halt Fentanyl Act. In a statement of administration policy earlier this week, the White House said it, quote, had long supported provisions of the bill permanently classifying all fentanyl analogs as Schedule 1 drugs and expediting research into such substances. These two provisions are critical components of the Biden-Harris administration's 2021 recommendations to Congress to combat the supply of illicit FRS and save lives. So, I mean, this is all of us. We don't have to be divisive. Sometimes when things get passed, yes, it's a Republican-controlled Congress, and it passed. But shouldn't it have passed if it was also a Democratic-controlled Congress? I mean, this is just one of those issues that I think, but, you know, it's being made in certain circles to look like Biden was against it. They weren't against it. They were for it. He's going to sign it. There's going to be no problems at all with this thing. Now get back to the debt ceiling. I can't believe we wasted time on this. I can't believe fentanyl wasn't already a Schedule 1 narcotic. Good Lord. What else don't I know? Yeah, seriously, the shit we don't know. Dianne Feinstein, Senator from California. She needs to get the hell out of here, right? So Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, he's apparently he's getting ready to. She's got to go away. She doesn't know where. I'm not an ageist, but she doesn't know where she is. She's got to go. We need somebody. California's a very important state. We need somebody there. So Gavin Newsom's going to put somebody in there to fill the spot. And rumors are it's going to be Oprah. Oprah Winfrey is the name being floated to replace Dianne Feinstein as senator from California. This will be an appointment. This will be a temporary. This will be a placeholder. The idea behind Oprah is that she would not run for re-election, and that there's already people who are declared and running for her seat. I think Barbara Lee is one of them, so they don't want to disrupt that. But Oprah, oh my God. Here's what I love about this. It's fucking people. What do you think Oprah's going to do? What do you think in 2023, you think Oprah is going to show up in Congress and be like, let's all talk? You think that's what's going to happen? You think that's who we are? You think we're still an Oprah audience from 1995? You think that people are going to sit and listen to what Oprah has to say without interrupting her, without calling her a libtard, without screaming shit? That's not how the world works. They are going to freaking destroy Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey will get chewed up and spit out. You want to know why? Because Oprah Winfrey still pretends to live in a world where civility and kindness and being gracious counts for something. That's not the world that the Marjorie Taylor Greenes or the Lorraine Boberts, that's not the world that they live in. That's not the Ocasio-Cortez world. These are people who are shit talkers. All they're doing is looking to rattle cages, okay? Oprah, this is not your audience. The soccer moms of 1995 used to gather for your little book Read a book. Nobody was reading books, but they went out and bought books because Oprah told them to. They didn't read those books. You have no influence anymore, Oprah. Your style of being kind and gracious and understanding and really wanting to talk doesn't work. People don't give a fuck. You know what they want to see? They want to see somebody stand up to you and call you a fat bitch. That's what they want. That will get the applause. And then Oprah, you'll stand there like, oh, I'll never. You remember what Trump did to Jeb Bush? Remember how confused Jeb Bush was? He's like, we don't talk like this in debates. I don't know how to fight. Remember how cucked Jeb Bush was? That's what they'll do to Oprah. Oprah will come out, all right, now, y'all, listen to me. And they're just going to throw shit at her. She's going to get hit in the head with a fucking gavel. She's going to be like, all right, everybody, listen to me. Bam! That's what's going to happen to Oprah. We don't live in this world anymore. Oprah does not have power or influence. I said it earlier, right? What was it, a birthday or something? No, it was on this day, the last Oprah show. That was 2011. On this day, the final Oprah Winfrey show. It's a different time in 2011, man. She left a void. And the void that those women went to were, I don't know. But I do believe that it was a better world when Oprah was in control of every waking thought of the American woman. When the American woman looked to Oprah for everything, we were in way better shape. Now we got, now we got a nation full of Karens. Karen, we didn't have Karens before Oprah. Yeah, we did. I can't say that. Oprah was, anyway. Gavin Newsom may appoint Oprah as the temporary seat filler senator from California. Stupid. Brand perception. There's a story going on about brand perceptions. Now, what is that? Well, it is exactly what it sounds like. Is the way that brands are perceived, okay? So you got a name like Chevy. What do people think of Chevy? Chevy's great, right? I'll give you something that's bad. Time Warner Cable. Time Warner Cable. You say, hey, how about Time Warner Cable? Anybody you say that to is going to go, fuck them. Nobody that's bad brand perception, right? So we've got a list here. Harris Poll. Year of the Tarnished Titans is what this report is titled. These are all of these brands. These are all brands. These are the best brands and the worst brands by perception, not by reality, just by what people think. I mentioned Tesla because Tesla is like a fucking rock in a deep pool. Tesla has gone from one of the top most respected brands to one of the least respected brands. Anyway, so the number one excellent rating between years 2016 and 2023, the number one brand with the best brand recognition is a company I've never heard of. Actually, that's not true. I've heard of this company. I don't know what this company does. Yoga pants? I don't know. Maybe Patagonia. What is Patagonia? Patagonia is the number one brand of all of these brands that were rated in the Harris Poll. It has the best reputation. What is Patagonia? Do you guys know? Patagonia. Let's see what this is. Patagonia is an American retailer of outdoor clothing.
According to Wikipedia, Patagonia, Inc. is an American retailer of outdoor clothing.
All right, it's based in Ventura, California. It operates stores in 10 countries. Women's clothes, I guess? Is that what Patagonia is? I don't know. Anyway, Patagonia is the number one rated brand. Here, let me run through some of these. Again, this is a Harris Poll. This is brand reputations, okay? Patagonia is number one. Patagonia is the best, most respected brand. Hold on, let me expand this so I can get all of these. Number two. Actually, how should I do this? I'm going to give you the top 10 and I'll give you the bottom 10, okay? Patagonia is number one, the best brand in America. People have the best response when they hear the name Patagonia as a brand. Number two, Costco. You know, I gotta say this is true. People rave about Costco. People, you know how many people are trying to get me to Costco? I'm like, I live alone, okay? I don't need a year's supply of toilet paper. I don't need Costco. But man, people love Costco. Number 3, best brand perception. John Deere. John Deere, the tractor company. All right. Number 4, Trader Joe's. Are you fucking kidding me? Trader Joe's? Have you been in a Trader Joe's? I hate Trader Joe's. Ah! Boy, I do not agree with that one. Number 5, Chick-fil-A. Oh, Polynesian sauce. Chick-fil-A's are always clean. The food always fresh. I've never had a problem at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. Number 5 best brand in America. Number 6, the Toyota Motor Corporation. That's true. That's true, man. People who own Toyotas. Boy, that's a cult. That is a cult. You own a Toyota, you own it for 15 years, and then the next car you buy is another Toyota, and you tell everybody about how your Toyota's got 200,000 miles on it. Toyotas, man. People love Toyotas. How about Samsung? Yeah, number 7. I'm a Samsung. I will never be an Apple guy. I love the Android. Everybody who has Samsung loves their Android. You know who does it? People who've got iPhones. People with iPhones do nothing but complain. We in the Android universe with the J series, the Galaxies, they're entry-level, beautiful phones. No problems at all. Samsung. And good TVs. Number 8 in the best brands. Here's one. This is good. This is really good because this is, I think I was saying yesterday. I mean, this is like the biggest company in the world. It's like Amazon. Amazon comes in at number 8. Number 9, USAA. Isn't that the insurance? Isn't that, for military insurance? Isn't that the commercial that Gronk does? USAA. Number 10, Apple. Apple comes in at number 10. So there you go. The top 10 brands in America by reputation, best reputations. We'll go 1 to 10. Patagonia, Costco, John Deere, Trader Joe's, Chick-fil-A, Toyota, Samsung, Amazon, USAA, and Apple. Just missing out on the top 10, 3M and Sony. All right, let's go down to the bottom. This is going to be the bottom 10, so this is going to be 90 to 1. These are the brands that people absolutely. These are the brands with the worst reputation. These are all kinds of things. Number 90, Family Dollar. Family Dollar sucks. You ever been inside a Family Dollar? You may as well be in a wet market in Beirut. The Family Dollar aisles are the grossest. The Family Dollar is the one where you're going to see roaches and probably a rat. That is not a Dollar Tree. A Dollar Tree is very clean. A Dollar Tree is very, it's white and it's bright and neon lights and greens. Not Family Dollar. Like I said, Family Dollar is like a Thailand wet market. That's number 90. Number 90 is Family Dollar. Number 91, Balenciaga. Balenciaga. Bad brand perception comes up at number 91. That's the fashion house that Kanye West tied himself to, right? And then all of a sudden, like, they're being called Nazis. And now 92, or 91, rated 91. 92, British Petroleum, BP. BP is the 92nd worst brand. 93, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the 93 worst brand. 94, TikTok. TikTok is the 94th worst brand. 95, Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines. That's a punchline. Flying Spirit Airlines is a punchline. Husbands all over the country fly their mother-in-laws into town on Spirit Airlines. Just hoping. Just on the off chance Spirit Airlines has a bad day. Meta, number 96. Meta. Number 97, the least respected brand. 97, Twitter. I agree. I'm so looking to leave Twitter. Number 98, the Fox Corporation. The Fox Corporation comes in at number 98 on the least respected brands. That might have something to do with the fact that they quietly admitted in court to the tune of $8 billion that they make up what they call news. But, that's going to cause your brand to drop. Not among the dummies. Like, the dummies will just be like, I don't care that it's not the real news. I liked it what it says. All right, number 100. Ooh, this is going to be provocative, kids. You ready for this? Ready to be provoked? Are you? Number 100. The lowest ranked brand in America, the Trump Organization. The Trump Organization is down 52.9% since 2016. These are all brands. They've been measured since 2016 to now. The Trump Organization down 52.9%. Other interesting ones that aren't in the top 10 or the bottom 10. ExxonMobil, Bank of America. Walt Disney is 77. Not great for Walt Disney. Taco Bell. Who's got a problem with Taco Bell? 73. You know what? This is a game. This could be a game. I can ask people to, what they think, good brand, bad brand. I'll work it out. I got time. I got time between now and then. Where is Tesla? Because Tesla was sort of one of the headlines here. 62. Tesla is number 62 as far as brand perception. Now, why is this a big deal? Because it's down 50 points from just 1 year ago. 1 year ago, Tesla was 12th. It was the 12th most respected brand. Now, it's down 50 points or 74.3%, and it's 62. Number 62. Let's see, what else do we have here? Anheuser-Busch. Whoa, they did the Bud Light people. They took a beat down. Anheuser-Busch is at 57. That's even. Exact same spot they were last year. Target. Target is down 21. Honda comes in at 13. People love Hondas. Microsoft, American Express, LG, Nike. That's interesting. Nike comes in at 21. Adidas comes in at 22. Home Depot. Home Depot coming in at 25. Most respected brand. All right, there you go. Brand perception. Big study. The Harris poll. 100 companies, 100 rankings based upon their public perception of their brand and what their brand represents. NFL streaming. Here we go. Here's a big story. The NFL is going full bore into streaming, and I applaud them for it. I think it's incredible. So here's the deal. Absolutely every piece of media content that you receive should be received digitally through a stream, okay? If you're still out there with an antenna catching shit that's flying around in the sky, you're doing it wrong. And unfortunately, American broadcasters, by the very definition of the term broadcasting, you are casting the signal broadly out into the atmosphere. Broadcasting is not a thing anymore. We don't need to do it anymore. It's the thing that kills me the most about radio stations. I see radio stations cutting budgets. I see radio stations cutting creative. I see radio stations cutting all the things that are important to making an impression at the local radio or at the local level. I see radio stations doing this. When radio stations, all they really need to do is cut their stupid transmitter, knock that down, sell the real estate, stop paying the yearly fee, stop worrying about all of the super smart engineers have to be kept on staff to maintain the radio signal, to maintain the tower. This is all overhead that isn't needed anymore in television or radio. Every signal can be distributed cleaner and at 99.9% less cost than the way it has been doing. But you see, the business model is dependent on the old broadcast model. And as long as every month they keep making budget and the shareholders are... See, in order to switch over to full-time streaming, digital distribution of signal, in order to do that, they have to clutch their pearls and admit that they're going to have like 3 to 6 months of a down period. 3 to 6 months of a down period for a multinational conglomerate is not something that they can handle. So they're just not changing over. Even though they should have done it 10 years ago, this is what's known as milking the cow. Okay, they are going to milk the broadcast cow to absolute death. They are going to tank these major media corporations, your Odysseys, your Cumuluses, your iHearts. They're going to tank them. They're going to all go into bankruptcy. They're going to all be sold off to individual local car dealers. And that's when radio will make the switch over. And that's when radio will come back at the local level. There is still room for local brands. The idea of local content and local information and all of that doesn't have to go away simply because a stream allows you to listen to anything you want. So you can still salvage these brands. You just won't be distributing their signal via traditional terrestrial means. That's way too expensive, and you don't need to do it anymore. And with the millions of dollars that you save every year getting rid of that, you can hire a creative department. You can hire people to actually do the job. You can have live people on the air. Imagine tuning into a Dallas radio station at 1 o'clock in the morning and hearing an actual live voice on the air the way you used to. Well, you don't because you can't hear that. Anyway. Of all the big companies that are dragging their dicks in the dirt over making this transition from terrestrial distribution to digital, of all of the entities, the NFL deserves a very big congratulations, because the NFL is the one that's saying, yeah, we're gonna switch over now, and it's gonna inconvenience some people, and oh boy, people gonna bitch and moan for, hell, could be a year or two. But, after that, we're just going to crank it back up. That's what the NFL is doing. So the NFL took their Sunday ticket package away from DirecTV, which had it for like 20 years or something. I didn't realize it was around that long. But DirecTV, the satellite provider, had owned the content for the NFL Sunday ticket, which allows you to watch out-of-market games, which is great. It's a wonderful thing. I wouldn't know what to do without the Sunday ticket. I love the Sunday ticket. I don't live in Chicago. I don't get Bears games. I have to rely on the Sunday ticket. So, Sunday ticket has left the traditional means of broadcast or cable and satellite distribution, and it's now going to be on YouTube, right? So the NFL has already struck a $1 billion a year deal with Amazon. They did that last year, the streaming giant. They're going to stream games there. Plus now all the Sunday tickets are going to be streaming. And now we're hearing more from the NFL offices. Like, networks may not get deals at all next time around. Like, the next time around, it might be just all about YouTube, or it just might be all about a new platform that comes up where when you want to watch games, you got to watch the NFL app and you pay for that app. I mean, it is all changing, and the NFL is leading the way. Football still dominates traditional TV ratings, but the league's deals with YouTube, Peacock, and Amazon, all while ESPN considers offering streaming access to its flagship channel, signal that the future of live sports is changing. It's a big deal because of what they just mentioned there about ESPN. ESPN, if you wanted access to ESPN content, you had to have it someplace, some form of a cable subscription. Same for, CNN and stuff like that. But ESPN, then they changed the rules where I believe you could have Hulu, right? You could buy ESPN as an upgrade on Hulu. So that all changed over the last couple of years. But one of the things that ESPN never allowed was their YouTube channel. ESPN's YouTube channel is great. Watch it all the time. But it's always just clips from shows that aired earlier in the day. Now, it might even be a show that just aired an hour ago, and now I'm watching the clip. That's fine, but it's a clip. It's not their show. When they signed Pat McAfee last week to the big deal, one of the stipulations that McAfee had was that my show has to be streamed for free on YouTube. I don't care that you're ESPN and that you're putting me on in a major block in the middle of your programming day. My show is about streaming for free, and we're going to continue doing that. So ESPN made the decision that they will begin streaming ESPN content for free on YouTube, which is massive. That is a massive change to the way they do business. So I can't wait for this. I can't wait. For me as a radio person, I can't wait for the Cumuluses and the Odysseys to go into bankruptcy, be forced to sell off their station, because that's when people like us swoop in and we buy up a station and we own a station. And then another guy that we know, he owns the station across the street. And we fucking hate each other. And we go to war and we produce real good, compelling local content. And it's all distributed digitally. Don't have to worry about the tower. None of that stuff. That's why the NFL is trending. The NFL is making some real big moves away from traditional broadcast signal distribution and into streaming. Also, well, right here, Pat McAfee is trending again. Pat McAfee and ESPN. What is this about? Let me see. I'm honestly not sure what this story is about. Why is McAfee trending? Pat McAfee. Oh, this is it. Okay, Pat McAfee could displace well-known personality at ESPN. So, Pat McAfee, who had a $100 million a year deal with FanDuel to stream exclusive rights to his show that he did on YouTube every day. It's on right now, as a matter of fact. He walked away from FanDuel. And he went with ESPN, and ESPN's going to now take over the Pat McAfee show. It's going to be the exact same show he promises. However, but they're going to stream it for 3 hours. The Pat McAfee show is a 3-hour radio show, essentially. And they're going to stream it for 3 hours in the middle of their broadcast day on ESPN. So that's going to displace some people, and they're saying, Max Kellerman! Yeah, at the door. Apparently Max Kellerman, who, he's not going to be out the door. I mean, he's got the morning show. He's got the morning show in L.A. with Keyshawn and Jay Will. Pat McAfee's impending arrival at ESPN could mean bad news for one veteran personality. According to a report Wednesday by Front Office Sports, ESPN will likely pave the way for McAfee's show by canceling Max Kellerman's afternoon show, This Just In. Oh, that's unfortunate. I like Kellerman. I like Max Kellerman. I remember when Max Kellerman was exclusively a boxing guy, and now Max Kellerman does everything. The Washington football team. The Washington football team. Why am I calling the Washington NFL franchise the Washington football team? Because they might have to change their name again. Yeah, they were the Redskins, and then stopped being the Redskins, and they became the Washington football team for like a season or two, and then they became the Commanders. But here's the problem. They can't seem to get the exclusive copyright for the Commanders. Daniel Snyder, who is now out of there, he didn't really give a shit. There was a problem when they changed it to Commanders, but he probably knew he was going to sell it, and he figured, let's make this somebody else's problem. So now the new people who are coming in, they're like, what do you mean we can't own the name of our own team? So there is some talk that the Washington football team may have to change their name again because some local dude owns the rights to Commanders. And then there's the annual Army versus Air Force game, which is played in Washington, D.C., which is known as the Commanders game or whatever. So I don't know. But yeah, there you go. So keep an eye out. Still chances. If you wanted it to be the Washington Red Hogs, there's still a chance that name could come back. All right, let me do something real quick here. I'm going to refresh this stream because I want to show you guys something. I have to show you this, man. I don't know if I'm going to have the signal strength to be able to do it. Hold on. You guys, the Brady Bunch house is for sale. Did you know that? The actual Brady Bunch house, the real house where they shot it, it's for sale, and I want to show it to you. I want to go inside. We're going to go on Zillow. We're going to look at the Brady Bunch house. It's going to be fun. But I don't think we're going to be able to do it because of my stupid... Hold on. Just give me a second here. We're almost out of show. Hey, how about the battery? It's going down, but it's going down. It's at 85% now. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. I can live with that. It's when it drops quickly that it alarms me. Okay, here. Let me see if we can... Son of a gun. Okay. I wonder how much of my actual life is stolen from me by staring at that icon. You know, the icon that spins while you're waiting for a page to download? Like, how much? If we do all the time that I've just stood there going, like now. If you added all of that time up, months, right? Gotta be, maybe not months. I mean, how much time do I really? Well, right now, come on! Fucking spinning. For fuck's sake. Just waiting for the page. We've got some, we're obviously having, and you know what? After all of this, there is no way. Oh, now it's doing something. Oh, now. Thank you. Take your sweet time. Stupid page. All right. Let me see if we can check this out. Yeah. No. I'm clicking on it, but it's just going, yeah. Hi, computer here. I know you're clicking on me, but I'm not gonna respond. I'm just gonna let you click. God damn it. All right. I think that's gonna be it for today's show. Nothing is working. That's okay, because our savior, Ed, who takes care of everything, who is responsible for this show. I mean, seriously, man, I'd have given up a long time ago, but Ed, he is just relentless. Ed has this whole computer thing. He's working on it. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fixed. Trust me when I tell you. What the fuck? Seriously. Mother fudger. Nothing clicks. I can't even click out of the show now. Hear that? There we go. All right. All right. And after that little tantrum, now Al says, internet at work is completely down. That sucks. Yep, there we go. The minute I click the show, I'm not even sharing anything. The minute I click, I'm going to share something. The minute I click share, the entire bar, the connection to the internet on Restream goes from full bar green to all the way down to red, just for clicking it. All right, we'll move forward. Sharing. Let's see if it's only pictures. Maybe okay. Oh yeah. We've got power. We're in the yellow right now. We're supposed to be in green. Okay, now it says I got 8 of 10. Now I'm full green. All right, share that bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Brady Bunch house. Womp, 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 womp. Womp, 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 womp. Remember how they did that with the Brady Bunch? Like, it was all the same song. It was ba-dum, ba-dum, bump, bum, 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 bum. It was all, they just took that song, and no matter what the mood was on the show, they just used that song. They would just slow it down. Like at night, like when you came back from commercial and it's nighttime and the opening shot is going to be Carol and Mike in bed together, the establishing music would be the Brady Bunch theme, but slowed down. It would be womp, 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 womp. I always thought that was cool, but I was a weird kid. All right, so this is the Brady Bunch house. It is for sale in Studio City, California. Should we take a look at this place? Look at it. I mean, what do you think a house like that should run you? Huh? Look at that. What is that? A $300,000 house in Richardson? What is going on? $5.5 million. That's right. If you want to live in the Brady Bunch house there in Studio City, California, you better buck up $5 million. Let's take a look at it, shall we? There it is. There's the living room. Now, here's what I don't know. I don't know that retroactively, or here's what I think. I think that they just used that house as the establishing shot in the Brady Bunch. I don't believe they actually filmed in that house. Brady Bunch was filmed on a set. It was set on a studio. So whatever the interior of that house looked like on the show, I don't believe that that's necessarily the lay of that house, right? But here we have a look at the actual house, and the interior seems to match the way the layout in the television series was, which leads me to think they retroactively, they went to, well, people think the living room looks like this, so let's just gut it and try and make the living room work. So that's the Brady Bunch living room. All of these things look the same. There's the steps. Look at that. Come on. That's when Marcia had something important she needed to talk to Mike and Carol about. This is where that would take place. There's the living room. There's the steps. Bum, 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 bum. Here, let's see some of the other things. And this, now this is interesting because this is all the aspects that we're familiar with from the Brady Bunch, right? We remember the dining room table, but the living room, the stairs, and then the doorway in the back there that leads to the kitchen. We've all seen these individually, but we've never seen them from this perspective. We've never seen them all together. This is actually not a very large house. This is kind of a small house. There's the steps. I love the brick landing there. I like that. That's a lot to like about this house, aside from it being the Brady Bunch house. Well, okay, so there's the front door. So we're looking at the front door. In the living room, the steps. Okay, that's a kitchen. Here we go. Bump, bump, bump. That's the Brady kitchen. What is it? What is this? A brick oven? What do they got? Like a pizza oven? What's going on there? What's with that giant hole there? All right, Brady Bunch house. There's the kitchen. Not much island space. There's really not much space to prepare. Bad refrigerator. Is that an electric stove? Yeah, it's an electric stove. Oh my God, how garbage. Ooh, no thank you. There you go. Here's the family room. A lot of stuff went down here in the family room on the Brady Bunch. Now, I don't know what this room is. I don't believe we've ever seen this room. Is this like Mike's den? I don't know what this is. Did Mike had a den, right? I'm guessing this is going to be Mike's den. Although a den I would think would have this one. This one is mind-blowing. We have never seen this before. We have never seen the hallway of the second floor in the Brady Bunch. We've never seen it like this. So this would be the hallway, and there would be like the girls' room and the boys' room, and then Mike and Carol's room down at the end. And we know they make Alice live in the crawl space. That's cool. Look at that. That's the hallway. That's the Brady Bunch hallway. The girls' bedrooms, right? 3 beds. The bathroom that they had to share, the boys' room and the girl. How about the boys? Look at that. There you go. Bobby and Peter's room. I don't know what room this is. And what is this, Mike and Carol's room? Is that the room of disinterested sex? Because as we all learned, Robert Reed was gay. Was not in. Bathroom, don't know what that's about. Nah, this has got to be the master bedroom. This is the Mike and Carol sex room. Oh, you know what I bet that was? I bet this is Alice's room. This might be where Alice lived, behind the kitchen. Okay, Mike and Carol's room. Nice bathroom, I guess. Here you go. This is the money shot, baby. Right there. That's Greg's party attic. Remember the episode where they were fighting over the attic? Who was going to get it, Greg or Marcia? And then Greg turned it into like a hippie den with beads and stuff. Yep, that's Greg's attic apartment. And then here's the backyard. That's the backyard of the Brady Bunch house. Okay. In a fence. You want to know something interesting? Do you know what the Brady Bunch house backs up against? Okay, so the Brady Bunch backyard of the Brady Bunch house backs up to the LA River. And you know what the LA River is? The LA River isn't a river. There's no water in it. It's that canal. It's that cement canal that we always see in movies and cop shows depicted in LA where there's always a car chase through the canals. That backs right up to the Brady Bunch house. That's like the Brady kids grew up with the canals in their backyard. I'm not kidding. That's pretty cool. Here, wait a second. You know what, Nav? Let's do this now. Since I'm obsessed with this, we seem to have. All right. Here, I want to put up a map here for you. Sort of an idea of where in the Los Angeles this actually. Up. There we go. We just lost all the power. All that power. Come on now. No, red. Oh, now we're it's only been 20 seconds since I shared it, and now it showed up. So this ain't gonna go. We gotta go. I'm looking at like aerial. Here, bring this. All right. Oh yeah, no power. No, Captain. Him up. There we go. And only again for that to share. All right, so here we're looking at. Okay. I have no power. I'm sorry. All right. All right, so you see that white thing right here that was built onto that house. And then right back here, see where it says Los Angeles River? That's the here. That you always see, like I always back remind color. No, it's not. So I'm shut up. Okay, there you go. Sharing. Let's see if we can. No, there we go. How much fun. All right, I think we're back. I had to refresh there. Had to get us a new stream. So let's see if that'll work. That's it. I don't have anything else. The last thing I had was a video that I wanted to watch with y'all, but I don't think we're going to be able to watch it just because of the problems that we're having sharing and the connection strength and all that stuff. I'm plugged in. I am plugged directly in, and that's working today, so that's a good thing. Let me jump over and see if there's anything that has happened. Oh. Apparently the page is unresponsive. Don't know if anything I've said in the last 5 minutes got heard. It did. Don't even know. Nothing. Yeah, I'm clicking on all the things. Nothing works. Nothing works. All right, we got to end the show. Yeah, page unresponsive. You get to become responsive or exit the page. You know what? You can exit my ass. All right. Nope. Nothing is working. QR codes. It's stuck on QR codes. Yeah, just got the pop-up again. Page is unresponsive. You can wait for it to become responsive, or you can just exit the page. I don't want to exit the page. There we go. All right. All right, well, now at least I got the chat room back. There we go. Barney with some very important Brady Bunch information. Barney says Alice was Mike's maid before he remarried, and he probably banged her a couple of times and kept her on out of guilt. No, he didn't. There was no sexual. I get where you're going, and but no, Mike was not into Alice. Mike was not into Carol. Mike was okay. You know what? We'll suspend reality and we'll pretend that he's a heterosexual guy. He was not attracted to Alice. Alice is much older, right? Ann B. Davis was like a good 15 years older than Robert Reed and Florence Henderson. Yeah. Although you do bring up an interesting thing, which is that Alice was brought over from the boys, right? So Alice was like team boy, because it wasn't just 3 girls, 3 boys, and a husband and a wife. It was 3 boys, a husband, 3 girls, a wife, and a housekeeper who had raised the boys, right? Probably saw these new girls as, I don't like these people. I didn't change Marcia's diapers. She had more of a relationship with Peter, Bobby, and Greg. All right, let me see. Let me see what's trending. Boy, this is... I always jump into Twitter for these trends at the end of the show, and it's always just a colossal waste of time. All right, let's see what is trending right now. Barbie is trending. I don't have any interest in this Barbie movie. I mean, I love Margot Robbie. I love her. She's terrific. she seems like, I loved her so much in Once Upon a Time in America, where she played big old pregnant Sharon Tate. She was such a delight. Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. What a delight. She was so nice. So, I mean, what is Barbie gonna be? Like, who is this for? Barbie can't possibly be for me. I'm a middle-aged white man. Can't possibly, I mean, other than Margot Robbie being hot, but that only goes so far. You know, I don't want to say it's a story about gay men, right? This is about gay men, maybe little girls, like girls who still play with Barbies. So like 10-year-old girls, 40-year-old gay men, and that's it. Like, who else is going to go see Barbie, the movie? Stuart Rhodes. Oh, he's that North Texas Oath Keeper guy. He's trending. I think he got sentenced today. I think they put a whole bunch of those Oath Keeper guys in jail. I don't care. I'm not going to talk about it. Let's see here. Memorial Day is trending. Memorial Day this weekend. You got any big plans? Looks like it's going to rain. Looks like it's going to rain here in North Texas on Monday. It's going to be a nice weekend otherwise, though. Yeah. I wish I had more to share with you. Talcum X is trending. Okay, Talcum X. Talcum X is trending. Who is Talcum X, and why did we allow that name to be stolen from us? Oh, Talcum X is a derisive name that is applied to this activist by the name of Sean King, which I guess it's funny. But Talcum X is James Parker's hip-hop persona. And I called him that for the very first time 20-something years ago. That name, at least in my head, came out of absolute nowhere, and I just created it. And I said, because James was a white hillbilly kid from Bug Tussle who was going to hip-hop concerts in Dallas, and he was showing up at hip-hop nights, and he was performing hip-hop. And so I suggested that he needed to perform under the name Talcum X. And he hated that name. And I was like, that's a good name. But now here it is. It's trending. It's a word. It's a word that other people have used. And not to stick on James. James Parker, the original Talcum X. Who else? Yeah, that's it. There's nothing good trending. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try one more thing. Let's go to Google. Google sometimes has better trends. Let's see if there's anything new. I say that, but then also Google could also have 30 trends on individual members of Korean pop bands. You know, it'll just be like Jungkook, Kunjin, Chaochi. All of them. Is that racist? Was that racist? I was just making up names that sounded Asian. Does that make me racist? Does that mean that I hate Asian people and want them to be exterminated from the planet because I don't feel that they bring anything to the table? Is that what that means? Because I just called somebody Chun-Chi? Because I'm a racist now? Let's see here. What do we got trending? Oath Keepers are trending. I don't care about that story. You don't either. No, we don't need to care about the Oath Keepers. We don't need to go into that. Cincinnati Reds, St. Louis Cardinals, Worlds of Warcraft. See, there's nothing. There's nothing happening. This is good, though. It's good when it's a quiet day. We're going to wrap up today's show. I want to thank you all for joining me. We do this every Monday through Friday, noon to whenever. We try and bring you everything that there is to bring you. As far as news, hot topics, current events, headlines, all of that stuff. We do this show, as I said, Monday through Friday at noon, but then we also come back at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we do a little thing we like to call Pugs and Parker Proudly Present. That's every Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. Okay, hold on. Now I have no internet connection. This is weird. Come on! There we go. Okay, all right, we'll do a different John Hinckley song. Sometimes this is a nice one. I got nothing else. To say. 77% battery strength now. That's good, though. That's good. That's not a complaint, because I was really worried that I was only going to get about an hour and 20 minutes of battery out of this thing, and I can go much longer. I could go a lot longer if I wanted to, but I don't have anything to talk about. Do I have anything to talk about? Oh, you know what I started rewatching? I started rewatching last night because I don't know. Sometimes I just need something that I don't have to pay all that. I started rewatching Friday Night Lights. That's right. But here's a trick. Okay, here's a trick, and this is now my second time through watching the series Friday Night Lights. And when I re-binge series, I have a number of tricks. Like, for instance, when I re-binge The Sopranos, anytime Tony and Dr. Melfi are alone together in a session, I fast forward through that. Fast forward through it. Any session between Tony Soprano and Dr. Melfi, those sessions were placed within the show to give you added exposition on what Tony is going through. All you need to do is see it once. So I watched those things, and so I know what Tony's grappling with. So I get that. So I can just fast forward through that crap. What's another one that I do? Sons of Anarchy. When I rewatch Sons of Anarchy, any scene that has Gemma Teller, who is Peg Bundy and a giant Clay from Sons of Anarchy. Any scene where they're alone together, fast forward. Don't need that. That's just all bullshit. None of that has anything to do with the story. You can just fast forward with it. And the stuff that does have something to do with the story, you'll pick up in other ways. You miss nothing. So Friday Night Lights, my new trick for fast forward watching the entire series of Friday Night Lights is anytime, and this is terrible, you're going to think I'm terrible. Anytime Jason Street is on camera. Anytime Jason Street, the quarterback who gets paralyzed, anytime he is on camera, fast forward through it. Because the things that he goes through have absolutely nothing to do with the football story. It's just a side narrative, and it is very depressing, and it's sad, and you don't need it. So there you go. That's something I just discovered when rewatching Friday Night Lights. Now, if you've never seen Friday Night Lights, you have to watch all the Jason Street stuff because you have to know about Jason Street and you have to know how that impacts the team. But if it's your second time through, don't put yourself through that again. You don't have to. Yeah, that's my big breaking TV news. I'm rewatching Friday Night Lights.
Everything is gonna be alright.
Tell me. I got to do my Arthur Shelby impression today. Tell me. My Peaky Blinders, Arthur Shelby. Tell me, you're my brother.
I love Arthur. Arthur Shelby.
Tell me Shelby's my brother.
Easy, Arthur. Easy, now, Arthur.
Tell me.
I'm going to be doing that all day long. I'm just going to be walking around. As a matter of fact, I may call my son and speak to my son at 3:30 when he gets out of school today. I will call him as Arthur Shelby. That's the kind of stuff that we do. Sometimes I'll call him and I'll just be a Russian guy and I'll just talk to him like this and then he'll hang up on me. But that's the kind of stuff we do. Today I'm going to call him at 3:30 as Arthur Shelby from Peaky Blinders.
Is this Chalmy?
Dad, what are you doing?
I'm looking for my brother Chalmy.
I got nothing else. Totally out of gas. Love you guys. See you tonight at 9. Bye.